Hey everybody, welcome back to the ThrillCat Cinema Lab. Today we're kind of wrapping up my series where I've been talking to a lot of the heavy hitters that are going to be displaying and exhibiting at CEDIA Expo 2025 in Denver here in just a couple of weeks. And today we have, quite possibly the heaviest of the heavy hitters. I'm welcoming Larry Paul from Christie Digital today, and they are going to be partnering with Seymour and Ascendo and MadVR and StormAudio in Sound Room 7, the 1 point how many million dollar sound
$1.3 million room.
$1.3 million room. Larry, welcome to the ThrillCat Cinema Lab.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Glad to have you here. So tell me just a little bit what is Christie going to have in this room with these other partners?
So we are showcasing for the first time ever in public, because we're just launching the product, the Christie Eclipse G3. And it's called G3 because it's our third generation of Christie Eclipse products. We've actually been delivering Christie Eclipse since 2018. To specialized venues, planetariums, etc. But this is our third generation of products, and it's definitely the best one we've ever made.
Excellent. And how did you come to join the team here with Storm and Seymour and everyone else at Ascendo?
Well, we came to the opportunity through luxury distribution, and they represent some of the brands that are in Sound Room 7. Mm-hmm. It's really an exceptional group of manufacturers in this in this room, and it really is world-class technology included in the room, and everything about it really complements everything really well. And we're just one piece of the overall package that really creates an incredible experience, and that's why we participated in Sound Room 7.
Excellent. Christie Digital is not necessarily the type of company who deals with high number, high quantity home theater projectors.
Correct.
How does the Eclipse G3 fit in to the home theater? You mentioned planetariums. This isn't quite planetarium status.
No, it's definitely not.
How do you fit into that market?
We actually do sell a number of Eclipse projectors into the, I will call them private cinema, right. Private venue cinemas. These aren't the typical home theater projector that you're going to go buy at your local sure. electronics store. This is a very high-end specialty product. The Christie Eclipse was designed to be the best projector that we could make, that anyone could make, we think, and pulling out, all the tricks, everything we could do, we threw at the Christie Eclipse. The only thing we didn't do is make it small or light or really inexpensive. We just said we have to make the best projector on the planet, and that's what this is made for. So it's really made for customers that are looking for that exceptional quality, and we'll get into the blacks and sure. and other things in a little bit. But it's not necessarily designed as a typical home theater projector. It is really designed as a very special venue opportunity for immersive experiences, which includes private cinemas in people's homes at times.
Excellent. So let's get into, I don't want to, get too deep into numbers and specs, but let's talk a little bit about the capability of the G3 and maybe the areas where it's, kind of the improvement over G2.
Sure. So we've been making a Christie Eclipse, and every Christie Eclipse has had the same basic out the lens performance as far as contrast. What makes Christie Eclipse a unique platform, it's a 6 DLP projector. It is unlike any other projector that we make or anyone else makes for this kind of market. It is a very unique technology where it's cascading, and we're really getting a realistic 20 million to 1 contrast, depending on the lens that you put on it and everything. But it really is exceptional contrast, and that's at the heart of all Christie Eclipse products. The G3 is the latest iteration of this, where we used to have external laser racks, and now we built all the lasers with all of our best both cinema and what we call enterprise laser solutions. We've packaged that all internally inside the projector. We also have an external chiller. And the advantage of that is that the projector head itself on the G3 is actually less than 45 decibels in sound. So it's a very, very quiet projector, something that is really important for every sound room that you're in. So it's a very quiet projector, and the heat and the noise, or the majority of the heat and the majority of the noise, is really remoted where the chiller is. And that can be 10, 20, 30 or more feet away in another space. So we try to make the performance, the sound performance and the heat performance very manageable in the projection booth. And then the chiller is basically ambient temperature chilled coolant. It's not crazy temperatures. It's not bad for the environment either. Right. It just moves all of that heat and noise to another space. So the Christie Eclipse G3 is just the most refined version of this product, where we've eliminated the fiber coupled laser racks that we've had in both Gen 1 and Gen 2 products. And we've just moved that into the close coupled that with the 6 DLP light engine that we have in the product. So getting the best of all worlds.
When you have output, like one of the other partners in the room is, we've got Panamorph and we've got MadVR, which are often thought of as, dynamic tone mapping solutions and juicing every amount of light out of a projector with the anamorphic lens. When you've got the power of this Christie Eclipse G3, do you need a dynamic tone mapping solution? And obviously, I don't think you're needing to get the extra light output with the lens, but you're getting the other benefits of an anamorphic lens.
Sure. And that is the reason. It's the other benefits are what enable things to happen, and it can have that or not. But the most critical factor is going to be the input electronics. If the sources were like DCI, where there was a standard and everything came in under one package and it was always the same way, then it would be less critical. But the problem is in the consumer, prosumer, whatever, however you want to define that, in that market space, the technology is, the only standard is there are no standards. I mean, to quote a colleague of mine. So having a device that actually understands how to decode both Blu-rays and streaming and kaleidoscope or whatever the source may be, that's really critical, because the projector just reproduces what it gets. And so having a device that does that pre-processing, that really does couple very well and is essential, it's an essential piece of Eclipse for this market. If you're in a planetarium, you don't need that type of solution, because you're going to make the sources that are specifically tailored for that, for the Christie Eclipse. But if you're in a theme park, for example, but if you're in a venue where you're playing any number of different media, that's where it's really a big advantage to capitalize on that.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about video black. We talk about the contrast rate, the 20 million to 1 contrast ratio of this projector. The sheer light output. What is the lumen output? 30,000 lumens.
Well, the maximum output is 30,000 lumens. What's also unique about Christie Eclipse Gen 3 is that not only can we output 30,000 lumens on day one, it depends on the lens you're using. If you have the ultra high contrast, you lose some brightness. But if you have the lenses that allow 30,000 to 1, 30,000 lumens, what you get is 30,000 lumens for 50,000 hours. So we have put extra headroom in the projector and our light lock technology actually maintains that 30,000 lumens, or whatever number you set it at, it maintains that, but we can hit full power without degradation to the lasers at the full 30,000 lumens. So 30,000 lumens sounds like an insane number, and for many installations it is.
Sure.
one of the advantages you have is you can put on the ultra high contrast lenses that do lose some of the light, but you get even better contrast performance. That's how you get to the 20 million to 1 contrast. The other advantage of it is you get, specular highlights that are exceptionally good, exceptionally realistic. It's very, very unnatural when you see clipping, and you may not even realize you're clipping if you see a shiny chrome object and it's just all blown out white. And your brain sort of says, oh, I guess it's chrome, or I guess it's just reflecting a lot of things. When you actually see the specular highlights and you can see the shapes of what that chrome ball or whatever reflecting object is, it brings it to a level of realism and immersion that makes you feel like you're actually there. And that's really what this does. This really, having that extra headroom also allows you to have really dark screens that absorb a lot of light, and so you might need more than your typical 2 to 5,000 lumen home theater projector to really punch it up. So you still have those brights. But let's talk about blacks, because that is the one thing that Christie Eclipse really does differently than any other product out there. On every product, and there's a lot of products out there that advertise, they have, they can turn off the light source.
Sure.
And that's wonderful, except for as soon as you turn on one pixel, you illuminate the entire, I'll call it a raster. It's not a raster anymore, but for all practical purposes, you illuminate the entire panel, and the whole panel starts glowing gray. And so that's not really a realistic way of measuring contrast, because what really matters is that when you have 1 pixel of light, that pixel of light actually can be 20 million times brighter than the light surrounding it. Mm-hmm. So you have no edges, things just disappear on a dark scene. Black is black. Video black is video black. And that's the one thing that Christie Eclipse really does. And that's with our unique 6 DLP architecture. That's what makes it really special for this kind of market, because we can do, absolutely zero IRE kind of blacks. And with the better performing screens that may be a very low gain, having the extra brightness in the projector allows you to punch that up and still maintain the bright whites, but also incredible blacks, and also reflecting a lot less light, or bouncing a lot less extra light in the room.
It's impressive. I think of my screen, or my projector. I've got one of the newer JVCs, which everyone talks about their blacks, but having seen the Christie projectors, it's not the same. Yep, like what you mentioned, it can drop all the way to black and make it feel like everything just turned off in my room. But then as soon as something comes back on, everything's back. But if, like you said, if it's a single dot on the horizon that lights up, it doesn't just immediately light up the room again like it does.
Yep, exactly. And that's what's really, that's its real main feature that makes it desirable. Not to mention the fact, Rec 2100 as a contrast standard is 200,000 to 1, and we're at 20 million to 1 contrast. And that's really hard to measure, because it's really hard to get devices that can measure, black. Most devices are just really poor at, when you get down there. There's only certain meters that can actually read that kind of crushed black level, because 0 is 0. And the nice thing is, every step along the way, and that's one of the things we worked on. One of the things we learned on the first gen Eclipse, we discovered errors in our electronics that we could never see before, because we never processed 0 and 1 and 2 and 3 on the grayscale chart, where we were going step by step by step. We discovered, we have a bug. We actually fixed the bug, but we discovered that we had bugs in our electronics that was never visible before, because no projector could ever be black enough to actually see what's happening at those levels. So, I mean, that's one of the features that Christie Eclipse, has. It really does do that. Every step at the bottom end is just a little bit more than the next one. It's a very nice linear performance, and that's again enabled by we had over 90 engineers in the first 5 years of development, not full time working on this thing, but we had 90 different people that were involved at Christie developing the Eclipse. And it was really the brainchild of Mike Perkins. But it took a lot of people a long time to figure out how to do this and really make it consistent and reliable. And like I said, G3, what I'm really excited about, it is a longer unit, but it's also a little bit shorter in vertical height, a little bit narrower in width, and it's much quieter than the previous generation. So it's a lot of improvements. We've changed lenses. We've really optimized the product, and we've taken all of the learning from the previous two generations and giving G3, the Eclipse G3 has historically only been available in North America. Mm-hmm. The previous generations, the Christie Eclipse G3 is going to be is a worldwide market. We're rolling it out. We've actually we'll be shipping before CEDIA. Okay. And that's to North America and Europe, and then we will have compliance for other countries around the world, as rolling out throughout the end of this year and beginning of next year.
Fantastic. It's fascinating to hear, because you hear about how the home theater and this type of experience is dying out, and R&D budgets are getting smaller and smaller, and projectors are being renewed less and less often, and there fewer models available and getting out of the business. And then Christie Digital is got 90 people working on a single unit in R&D, and it's fascinating to hear that the two different sides of this coin, incredible developments.
Thank you. I mean, this product satisfies. I mean, it really is exceptional for this market, but it's also for planetariums and theme parks and other special venue applications. Again, it wasn't 90 people full time for 5 years, just to be clear. Yeah. But we did have a lot of people, and we've invested a lot of money into making this product. Again, we want to pull out all the stops and make this the best product that we can possibly make, that we think can be produced. We have 98% of Rec 2020 color capabilities. The projector supports anywhere between 24 and 120 hertz at true native 4K, meaning cinema 4K, 4096 by 2160. Of course, we also support 3840 by 2160 and many other different resolutions. This is just, it's an adaptation over what we've been delivering on our red, green, blue true laser illuminated products. We've been delivering laser illuminated products actually since 2012. And so we've had a lot of experience developing lasers. I think we are the most experienced laser manufacturer of laser illuminated projectors out there. And we just sort of said, all right, it's time to bring G3 up to the latest standards, to bring the latest illumination technology that we understand and package that right into the product. And so a couple of years ago, we set off to do that. And here we are, it's the same performance out the lens, except we have a little more brightness actually now than we had on previous generations. So we actually are getting even more brightness, but the same contrast performance, and just, refine the product at a different level than the previous generations.
That's amazing. I was talking to Matt from StormAudio about the booth, about Soundroom 7. And kind of from the audio perspective, and just the number of channels and speakers and the size of the subs in that room, I asked him a question, and I want to ask you the question from the video size. At what point is it too much? Cost no object. At what point is it like that's just more than you'll ever need?
The image quality you get from Eclipse is really unlike anything else. You mentioned your projector, which is a great projector. I'm not knocking that projector, but it's just in a different class. Yeah. And unfortunately, you do have to spend more money to get that kind of quality, but you can see it. It's there. And that's one of the things I really hope that people have a chance to get to Soundroom 7 and see this. It's one of those things you can't look at a spec sheet and go, oh yeah, it does this. Sure. That's nice. It's one of those things you really have to see. And once you see it, you really get it. And although we make some really quite spectacular other projectors that are also sold into this market. The Eclipse is really at a different category. It's just a different class of product, and there is a broad market out there, and like you said, some of them are just bailing and they're leaving the space.
Yeah.
We feel that there is a market for the true premium ultimate experience, and from a visual perspective, it's second to none. There really isn't anything like it, and because of that, that's why we're in Soundroom 7.
Excellent. You talk about some of the other use cases for this projector. For someone who doesn't know, where else have they seen the image from a Christie projector?
Well, I'm under NDA in most cases, so I can't really, unfortunately, divulge where they all are. They're in a number of private residences, I will say. We also have planetariums. And one that I can mention publicly is the Hayden Planetarium in New York City. Was actually the first installation we did. And we installed it, and they had to master their content in the dome because their 8K mastering monitors could not see what we could see with the projectors in the theater. And so they had to actually spend about 8 months remastering the films to get the performance of their media, because there was errors that were just not visible even on their best HDR monitors and everything else. They were able to see things that they couldn't see until they brought it into the theater. So that's the kind of exceptional performance that we get from this. And they're, like I said, unfortunately, I'm under NDA and I'm not really allowed to get into too much other detail, but there have been articles that speaks about our involvement with the Hayden that are online.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Well, Larry, I don't have any other questions for you unless there's something glaringly obvious that I'm missing that we should be talking about.
Well, I mean, that's what's in Soundroom 7. And we do have other opportunities of seeing Christie products at the show, including in Soundroom 10. We're demonstrating a CP4425 with a prototype of VDR so that would be something that is a worthy watch. We also have some microtowel LED in the Ascendo booth, number 4312. And we are, let's see, where else are we? We have other displays. We have some static projectors that you can just walk up to and see an M4K 25. There's a static Eclipse G3 as well. Jazz Series, 4K 860 IS, UHD Core 3 products. So we have a number of products that are at the show. But the Eclipse is, kind of a unique product. That is my product as the product manager. I do a number of things at Christie, but I manage the specialty, unusual stuff that we do, not the more mainstream products. We have a great team of engineers and product managers that manage those things. And I really focus on, as a product manager, I really focus on the more specialized high frame rate stuff and the 3D things. And I focus on, high performance contrast, HDR. We've been working at 480 frames per second for a number of applications. So we do a lot of specialty applications, and that's really what my role is. And Eclipse is just one of the arrows in our quiver of things that we offer. But for the home theater space, it is an exceptional thing. It's also not a light projector. It's not something you just sort of go, hey, let's put one of those in here. It's, it's not a casual install, but we have some great distributor partners with Luxury Distribution Group. They have a team of people that really understand what it takes to make the whole space into something spectacular. And so I hope people have a chance to come out to see us at the booth. I will be at the show both Thursday and most of Friday. And I hope to see you and hope to see others there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's definitely going to be a lot of fun. I should mention in this video, Matt brought it up in the video that I did with Storm with him yesterday. When you go to Sound Room 7, don't try and look at the projector when you walk in the room, because it's bright enough that you won't see the demo, right? Like if you look directly into that lens when it's on, it's not something
you don't want to do that anyways. I mean, with black being black, it's installed in a safe way, but the point of it is to look at the screen, and that's where I would be, putting your focus on the result, which is actually the only thing that really matters. You want to see the experience, hear the experience, and really immerse yourself in that space. And if you're just staring back at a projector, there's really not really much of a point to that. So if you're able to be in Sound Room 7, please do focus on the actual experience, because that's really what Sound Room 7 is all about, is just pulling out all the stops and putting the best of breed in that room and making something that is quite exceptional.
Sure. And the projector itself is outside of the room, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's not in the
going through
in the room.
Going through a porthole into the room.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. We have a static one if you want to see what it looks like. We have a static one that you can see. But yeah, like I said, when you actually get into Sound Room 7, please do focus on the experience of what it does, and you will see black being black, and you'll see just some incredible content. So yeah, we're very excited about it, and also hear some incredible content as well. So with great seats and the whole experience. I mean, it's trying to make that kind of exceptional experience, and we're very happy to be participating with all these partners. It's really great. I think it's going to be a great experience.
Right on. Well, I look forward to it. I'm excited to see and hear this room, as well as plenty of the other sound rooms at CEDIA this year in Denver. So, Larry, I thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to connecting with you in person in Denver in just a couple of weeks.
Sounds great. Yep. Right. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you missed them, we've talked to a lot of the other heavy hitters from CEDIA 2025 who are just making all those final preps for their sound rooms and their booths and exhibits and displays. So make sure to check out the rest of those videos, and we'll see you in Denver.